What's up guys, we're back for part 2 of the custom roll cage build on my Razor XP1000. We're going to be working on it outside most of the day because the shop is just way too full. We've got an old GM, a 1949, that's in here for a bunch of custom fabrication. So that doesn't run, so it's taking up the space I would usually be working in. So I did make a bit of progress off camera. If you guys haven't seen part 1, we did the main structural pieces of the cage, but since that I've added the lower windshield bar and the anti-intrusion bar there, as well as a sheet metal roof that I whipped up on the CNC and built this little light rack thing which may or may not be staying. So got some dimple dies on the back of the roof. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I really wanted the lower windshield bar and an intrusion bar because there's a lot of deer on the trails that I hit regularly. So a bit more safety for that. So today we're going to be wrapping up a few things, and the main piece that we have to add is a center roof bar, because right now we've got nothing between the two outside tubes, meaning that if I roll this over on a stump or a rock, it's caving right in. So I'm gonna have to roll that on the swag tube roller to match the radius I did on the roof line last time, as well as make a bunch more tabs for the roof to hold on to, because it's just sort of fluttering up front, makes a bunch of noise, can't have that. And then we'll probably pull the cage off first because I want it off anyways. There's a couple of things I want to clean up and actually paint the thing properly. So yeah, and we did also add the little mounts for ditch lights, I guess you call them. None of that is wired up right now, and it's not really a priority. I've got 2 events coming up I want to go to with this, so I want the cage nice and safe as well as looking proper, painted and everything. So that's what we're working on today. So let's go. So we'll just check if we're anywhere near the radius we want. Yeah, it actually went over it a bit. That would be just fine. So we don't really see it here because it's so short, but there is actually a point, the last 4 or 5 inches, that doesn't get rolled, because the center die only stops here, so this all stays straight. We do have about an inch and a half to take off of each side, so we'll get rid of that, but it's already hardly visible. So I'm pretty happy with that. Right, we're back. So we've got our freshly rolled piece of 1.25 DOM all set up. Turns out we do have 4 inches excess, so I'm going to notch more than not enough off of each end. Try to do it about 2 inches per end. We're going to try to take off as much of the unbent portions on each side. So I don't want to take off too much on one side and have the other not match one end. The trusty old JD squared. This is a notch mount. So that's pretty much it for the progress for today. It's going to be a bit of a short one, but it's a good update on the cage. This is really the end of what I wanted to do with this cage, being the minimum that you should have for sort of more of a cage that you're going to be beating on a bit more. So with the added tubes that we finished up today, I'm very comfortable with this cage. The one thing I did that isn't by the book is that the roof bar in the center that we put in today, according to most racing specs, that's a bit small diameter wise. I think for the weight of the vehicle that would be better if it were a 1.5 outside diameter rather than 1.25. I don't have dies to work 1.5 yet. I've got 1.75 or 1.25, and I have the tubing in stock, so I'm very comfortable with it safety-wise, but there may be some race specs where they would say that tube needs to be a bit bigger to have the added rigidity that it would need to take the weight of the vehicle in multiple rollovers. Other than that, this is a full DOM cage. Almost all of it is 1.75, and everything 1.75 on this cage is at 120 wall. So a lot of guys go with 100 thousandths thick, so a bit of a weight saving, but I really wanted to do something with as little tubing as possible on this, so we went with the slightly heavier wall just to be safe. Right, we're back. It's now the next day. I left the cage drying during the night. Did a bit of clear coat this morning. So it's all set. Here I've covered everything with just rubber tapes to try to dampen the rattle noises once I throw the roof on. Next we'll put the roof back on the cage just to make it easier to get back in one piece all back on the car. So I got this new GoPro 11 Black with the media mod on it, so I wanted to try filming this part and the outro for the video with it so we can see if there's actually a difference with the little foam speaker thing on. So yeah, let's get to it. Here's a final look at the cage. Everything's been set back up. Roof is back on, you guys saw that. Ended up putting the last light on it. And those aren't wired up, they're just for show right now. And it might look unusually clean, and that's because there's been a pretty serious change of plans. I've been wanting to sell this thing for a while to move into something a little more powerful. And turns out I found an interesting opportunity to trade it in. So now that it's all nicely finished and how I wanted it, we're cleaning it up, pulling all the aftermarket parts off it, because the deal I made is for it in stock configuration, which fortunately I still have all the stock parts. So I wanted to take a look at it all done, because this is the last time it's going to look this good. And yeah, it's going back onto the factory 29-inch bighorns, factory cage, factory doors. So I get to keep the wheels and all that, and sell those on the side, so that's good. So let's just take a moment to appreciate how good it looks. I'm going to mess up the exposure too much here as I go from inside to outside the shop and try to stay back to the sun. The color came out really nice. It's a bit more golden than it was the first time around. really pops. It doesn't quite match the wheels anymore. Those are much darker, but good look. So sometime next week, I won't tell you guys just yet what we're going for, but yeah, big change. I'll probably bring the camera around and go more into details about it as we head over there. I have about a 2 hours drive to head to that dealership. Currently it's actually 2 weeks after we finished that cage, so I have been to the Escape Mudfest as well as the North Augusta Part 3, the third event for the summer. I've filmed a bunch of stuff on that, so I'll be probably working on the Escape Mudfest before the Augusta Part 3, but those will be out soon, and then we're going to start a whole new build series on the new car, I guess. I'll leave you guys on that, and thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, what you want to see next, and we'll be back with the 2 wheeling videos and then the new car video. Maybe the new car video will come out first, I don't know. We'll see.